Hey, what's up? It's Dustmos live and in the flesh, and today I'm here to talk about my experiences with the Alpha 65 Evos and the Sub One from Focal. I'm currently working on my next full-length album, and I reached out to Focal to see if they would be awesome and allow me to demo this set of monitors on the channel because I wanted to hear what they sounded like and kind of elevate my game, and I thought it would be cool to just give an opinion video and put one out there on this setup. I've had them for a couple months now, and I've really enjoyed them. I've definitely noticed I'm hearing more from my mixes. I'm kind of fixing things that I didn't know were broken, like weird little tails on samples and things like that. Stuff that I just didn't notice before on my old monitors that I'm noticing on these, and it's been a nice improvement. Prior to this setup, I had a set of KRK VXTs that I was using. That's kind of like their next level above like the Rockets and stuff. And those were good. They were impressive quality for their price point and their size. But the Focal setup that I'm working with now is just so much of an improvement. And it's really cool. And I just thought it would be cool to put together this video and share with you. So obviously I'm not gonna play them back here or anything like that. I feel like those types of demos on YouTube are always misleading. You don't really get anything from them, and it's not a true representation of what they sound like. But I will share with you my experience, give you my opinions and my takeaways, and yeah. Also, one thing to note is that these are on loan, so they weren't a gift or anything. They're also not paying me for this video or anything like that. I just have them lent out, and I might get a discount if I choose to buy them ultimately. I don't have those numbers or anything, so I don't even know. But just so you know, like, there's no biases here. I just thought I would give them a run for their money and share my experience with you. Let's check out the Alpha 65 Evos from Focal. I'm not lifting this up. I'm not doing it.
Alpha 65 Evo in Sub One. Drivers. First up, let's take a look at the drivers on the Alpha 65 Evo. Up top, there's a 1-inch inverted dome aluminum tweeter handling all the high frequencies. And for the mids and lows, there's a 6.5-inch slate fiber woofer, and those are individually amped. What is slate fiber? Well, it's a proprietary composite that is made of a thermopolymer and carbon fiber strands that are directionally layered together. And it was developed by Focal, and they actually make it in their facilities in France. Power. As I mentioned, the Alpha 65 Evos are bi-amped, and that means there's a 55 watt amp driving the 6.5 driver and a 30 watt amp driving the tweeter. And this combined 85 watts of power brings all the juice to allow them to hit 104 decibels in an SPL measurement. Build. Like most speakers, the Focal Alpha Evos are made out of MDF, some of which is vinyl covered, and plastic for the side panels. They have an overall high quality build. They feel really premium. There's a really good attention to detail, like looking around the tweeter surround. There's really tight tolerances, and you can tell that they care. The Alpha Evos are front ported, which allows you to place them closer to walls, which is really helpful in setting up your room. The Alpha Evos have a bold look that you may or may not like, but I think it's modern and it's a cool aesthetic. Back panel I/O. So on the all-metal back panel, you've got all the I/O that you need to get things moving and get these set up. Right up top, there is a 1/4-inch input that is balanced. Below that, there's an XLR input that is also balanced. And there's also a sensitivity switch for +6 dB or 0 dB, depending on your source. And there's also an unbalanced RCA input. On the top right, there's a auto standby, enable, disable switch, and the power rocker. And below that, you've got 2 knobs for low frequency shelving and high frequency shelving. The low frequency, you can go from -6 to +6 dB. And on the high frequency, you can go from -3 to +3 dB. In kind of the rear center, there are these 2 threaded bosses for allowing you to wall mount. And below that, just out of frame, there's a standard AC port to allow you to hook up your mains cable. Sound quality. So most importantly, really more than anything, is sound quality, and these do not disappoint. I really enjoy the sound that I'm getting from these. I notice a lot of separation in the instrumentation. You can really hear the space between the notes, and yeah, I'm not left disappointed, that's for sure. Really good lows and highs as well. The 6.5 drivers really pump out some bass. That 40 hertz to 22 kilohertz frequency range really helps cover that spectrum, and these do great even without the sub. But that brings us to the Sub One. The Sub One is super deep. I noticed I was playing some notes on a synthesizer that just had the room moving, and it's able to achieve these low frequencies due to the dual 8-inch woofer cones on either side, and those are brought to life by the 200-watt amplifier built in. And on the front, there are 2 ports which allow you to place the Sub One close to a wall, under a desk, makes it really flexible. With a frequency range of 32 hertz to 120 hertz, it's all low end with this thing. And you can really push the lows, and it really lets you feel the low end, which I've never really had in a monitoring setup before. On the back, you've got low frequency management controls. These include a knob for the low pass frequencies, the level of the sub, phase inversion, polarity, auto standby, a defeat for the crossover in the satellites with a 60 or 90 hertz selection, all the I/O for all your cable routing, a bypass jack for a foot switch, LFE port, and the power switch. And this is it next to the Alpha 65 Evo. The cones are made out of the same material, the same quality build, really impressive stuff, and definitely feel like it's a great value at this price point. And here's a shot with the Sub One next to a chair. You can tell it's a pretty big boy at 18 by 11 by 19, and it comes in at a whopping 40 pounds, but hey, it's a dual subwoofer, so what do you expect? Final thoughts. Overall, the Alpha 65 Evo paired with the Sub One is a really impressive combination. I'm able to really hear my mixes. It's very clear. The frequency range is outstanding. I'm really able to kind of hear where things are placed in a mix in a way that I haven't been able to before. And yeah, it's an impressive combo. The Alpha 65 Evos are great alone, I've noticed, even without the sub, but the sub really rounds out those lower end frequencies and allows you to play around in that sub bass frequency spectrum, which is important when you're mixing, because you never know if you have some sneaky frequencies down there kind of rumbling around, and you don't want any surprises when you translate your mix to other sound systems. I love the auto standby feature. It allows you to leave them on essentially, but they'll just turn off when they're not sensing a signal for a while. And that's in a lot of modern monitors, but it's a feature that I never really used before and I'm actually into. As I mentioned, the construction quality is fantastic. They sound really good. I think they're a great value for the price point, and it's not like they're skimping on materials. These cones are gorgeous in my opinion. And yes, even though they maybe have love it or hate it styling, I personally think they look modern and cool and weirdly rugged. So if you're in the market for some new monitors, I definitely think these are worth a look. Or a listen. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.